Section number 4 of A Book of Fairy Tale Bears. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, BC. A Book of Fairy Tale Bears by Clifton Johnson. The Bears and the Magician. Once an old Indian magician was walking through the forest when he saw a great company of wolves gathered in a circle about one of their number who was evidently their chief. The old magician drew near and said, "Wolf chief, I am often hungry and unable to secure food. Pity me and make me into a wolf, that I may live as you do and catch deer and other animals that are swift of foot." "Come hither, then," the wolf chief responded, "and I will rub you with my paws so that you will be hairy as we are." "No, no," the old magician said, "I would not have my entire body covered with hair, but only my arms and legs." So the chief wolf rubbed only the arms and legs of the old magician, and they were immediately covered with shaggy hair. Then the chief wolf ordered some of his followers to go with the stranger to help him hunt, and they went with him up among the high mountains where it was very cold. At night they lay down to sleep, and the old magician was chilled through and through by the frosty wind. "Cover me with your tails," he said to the wolves, and they lay down around him and covered him with their bushy tails, so he soon became warm and slept. When it was daylight they resumed their hunting, and by they saw some moose. They gave chase, and quickly overtook and killed them. Scarcely had they begun eating their prey when the chief wolf and a numerous troop of followers came along to share in the feast. The old magician gnawed the meat from a bone and threw the bone away, and by some mischance it hit and killed one of the wolves. "You cannot stay with us or in this region any longer," the chief wolf said. "You must go where we will not see you again. But I will not be too severe, for one of my wolves shall be your companion and assist you to hunt." So the old magician and his single wolf attendant went off and lived by themselves, and they killed all the elk and deer and moose they wanted. One day a deer that the wolf was chasing took refuge on an island in the middle of the stream. The wolf followed, but as soon as he entered the brush along the shore of the island a bear seized and killed him. The magician waited a long time for the wolf to return, and then went to look for him. He asked all the birds and other creatures he saw if they could tell him what had become of his wolf, but none of them could give him any information until he accosted a kingfisher who was sitting on a limb overhanging a stream. "Why do you sit there, my friend?" the old magician asked. "I am looking for something to eat," the kingfisher replied. "A little way up this stream is an island that is the home of the chief bear and his two brothers. One of them has killed your wolf, and now they are eating him, but they only care for the lean meat, and they throw the fat into the water. Whenever I see a piece come floating along I fly down and get it." "I suppose," the magician said, "that the bears have on the island some sort of cave or den in which they spend most of their time. Do they often come out?" "They come out every morning," the kingfisher responded, "and play on the sandy shore." The old magician went to the island and saw the bears' tracks in the sand where it was their custom to play, and he turned himself into a dry dead tree on the adjacent bank. There he waited till the bears appeared. When they saw the tree the chief bear said, "Look at that dead tree. It is the old magician. Brothers, Go and see if it is not." So the two brothers of the chief bear went to the tree and clawed it, but the old magician never moved or cried out. "No," they said, "it is only a tree." Then the chief bear went and clawed and bit the tree, and although this hurt the old magician sadly he never moved or cried out. That made the chief bear sure that the tree was really a tree, and he began to play with his brothers. As they were rolling about, the old magician assumed his human form, leaned over the edge of the bank, and shot a well-aimed arrow into each of the three bears, and they fell lifeless on the sand. Afterward he crossed to the mainland and walked down beside the stream. Pretty soon he met a frog leaping hastily along in the opposite direction. Every time the frog jumped it would say, "Chief Bear," and occasionally it would stop and add, "I bring healing to Chief Bear and his brothers." "Ha!" the old magician exclaimed. "Tell me what you mean by that." "Why, they have been killed," the frog said, "and I am going to give them some medicine that will make them as much alive as ever." "No, you are not," the magician declared, and he spoke so threateningly that the frog turned back. Then the magician retraced his steps to the island. "I will not have those rascally bears restored to life," he said. So he made a big fire, skinned the bears, and roasted the meat in such a way that all the grease ran into a hollow of the ground. That done, he summoned all the animals in the forest to come and roll in the pool of grease, and promised them that this oily bath would make them fat. The bears came first and rolled in the grease, and that is the reason there is so much fat on a bear's body. Last of all came the rabbits. By that time the grease was nearly gone, but they filled their paws with it, and rubbed it on their backs and between their hind legs, and that is why every rabbit now is so fat in those places. End of section number 4. Recording by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, BC.